It all started on a cold evening when Mark, a single dad in Toronto, was hurrying home after picking up groceries. His arms were full of bags, and his mind was already on what to cook for his 9-year-old daughter, Emily, who was waiting for him. He was tired from work, worn out from the weight of being both mother and father, but nothing could prepare him for what he saw that night. Just a few steps away from the parking lot, his heart froze. A young girl, no older than 15, was being dragged by a man who gripped her wrist tightly. Her eyes darted around, filled with fear, silently begging for help. Mark didn't think. His body moved before his brain could catch up. He dropped the groceries, cans rolling across the pavement, and charged. He swung his fist at the man, the punch landing hard. The man stumbled back, stunned, while the girl broke free and ran a few steps away, breathing heavily, clutching her arm. Mark turned to her, his voice urgent but gentle, asking, "Are you okay?" Tears spilled down her face as she shook her head. She whispered that the man was not her father, not her uncle, just someone who tried to force her into his car. Mark's stomach churned. The reality of what almost happened was too much to swallow. His hands trembled, but he forced himself to stay strong for the girl, just as he always did for Emily. Within minutes, people gathered. Some pulled out their phones, others shouted at the man who now tried to defend himself with lies. Mark's protective instincts flared. He wasn't about to let this man walk away. He grabbed his phone, called 911, and kept the man pinned until the police arrived. When the flashing lights painted the night red and blue, the girl finally broke down, sobbing against Mark's chest. He held her like she was his own child, whispering that she was safe now. Later, as statements were given and the man was taken away in handcuffs, Mark noticed how small and fragile the girl looked under the weight of it all. She reminded him of Emily, of how vulnerable children really are in a world that can be so cruel. Before leaving, the girl looked up at him and said in a shaky voice, "You saved me." "Thank you." Those words pierced his heart. He realized that sometimes, being in the right place at the right time could mean the difference between tragedy and hope. When Mark finally returned home, Emily was waiting at the window. She ran into his arms as soon as he walked through the door. He hugged her tighter than usual, tears burning in his eyes, grateful that she was safe, grateful that he was there to protect not only her but someone else's daughter too. He didn't tell Emily the full story that night, but when she asked why he looked so serious, he simply said, "Because every child deserves to feel safe." Always. The next day, news spread in the community about what happened. People called him a hero, but Mark didn't feel like one. He was just a dad, a man who knew what it meant to love and protect, who couldn't stand by and watch a child suffer. He didn't punch first because he was reckless. He did it because sometimes in life, you don't get the luxury to wait, you act, because someone's safety depends on it. In the days that followed, Mark kept thinking about that girl. He hoped she would heal, that she would grow up knowing there are still people in the world who will stand up for what is right. He also held Emily closer, more aware than ever of the precious responsibility he carried as her father. This story isn't about a fight. It's about courage, about stepping in when no one else will, about the power of love that pushes a parent, or even a stranger, to protect a child at all costs. And as Mark tucked Emily into bed that night, he whispered to himself a silent promise, to always choose to act, to always fight for the innocent, and to remind others that being human means protecting one another, no matter the risk. Because sometimes, one punch given in the right moment is more than just an act of defense, it's the beginning of hope.